Hello, I'm Dean, and this is Dean's N-Scale Trains. Today I'm going to show you what I'm doing on my latest layout, the Santa Fe Northern, which you see here. It's an L-shaped layout, and I talked about building the table and the supports in the last video. So now as you can see, I'm laying down track. In this video I'm going to show you how I transferred the plans from the SCARM software that I used to develop the layout using printed out sheets that the software provides. Then I'm going to lay down Woodland Scenic rubber roadbed, and finally on that I'm going to put flex track. And today I'm going to be talking about how I laid the regular track, the straights and the curved, for the entire railroad without switches. In the next video, I'll get into a little bit more intricate project, laying track in the yard here and the upper yard there. When that's done, I'm going to start cutting the foam, raising this up 2 inches, raising this up 1 inch, and this will be at 0 inches. So, as I say, 3-part video series. The first part on laying regular track, second part in putting in switches and sidings. The third one will be turning a flat layout into a mountainous layout. So stay tuned and I'll show you what I'm doing. Here's the track plan as I developed with SCARM and showed in an earlier video. SCARM automatically divides the track plan out into 8.5 by 11 sheets and then prints these. I first tried gluing the sheets down to the 1-inch foam board with Elmer's glue, but that warped the foam board. Instead, I taped each sheet together with Scotch tape and then taped down the edge of a line of sheets with wrapping tape. I then continued to the next layer of sheets, continuing to the end. First thing I did was, using the width of the roadbed, I made some marks, and that's going to be where I will cut the paper. The roadbed will push up against this mark all the way around. For the long straight edge track along the back, I soldered 4 lengths of track together and then glued down the roadbed using Elmer's glue, pushing it up against the cut paper. I used T-pins to hold down the roadbed while it dried. To glue down the track, I put down 2 lines of Allene's Tacky glue, available from Amazon, and then placed the track on that and pinned it down with T-pins. This method worked quite well, as the Allene glue stuck very well to the track. I used T-pins to hold down the roadbed while it dried. In this way, I continued around the loop. The ends were squared off and smooth with a roto tool and a cutoff wheel. With the second method, the center line of the track layout plan was cut, and the paper there on that side removed. The Woodland Scenic Roadbed was cut in two, and half of it was laid down, pushed up against the edge of the cut paper. Then the paper defining the other side of the track was pulled up, and the rest of the roadbed was laid down and glued. Allene's glue was put down and the track was laid down against that and held with pins. It was easy to find the center line since the split end of the roadbed located it. A roto tool was then used to square up the edges and to cut two ties off the length. The ends of the rails were then smoothed up with a file. I attached power leads to the rails every few sections. Rail joiners were placed on the ends of the bare section of track, and the power lead set pigtails were soldered to that. Then the rail joiners were joined to the existing track. I removed two ties from the ends of the track with a utility knife. The new section of track was then joined up with the old, glued down and pinned as before. Several pins were used near the joint to make sure the track had a smooth curve through the joint. I soldered these rail joints together to make sure the curve was held. I put a spatula underneath to keep the pigtails soldered to the joint, to the rail joiner, and then I held it with pliers while it cooled. Then I did the other pigtail side. In laying later sections of track, I used straight pins rather than the T-pins. These were pushed through the holes in the track and lined up with the split in the center of the roadway. This worked very, very well. So here are a couple of photos showing everything I've done so far on one end and the other of the layout. And a photo of the whole thing from above. As always, if you like my video and want to see more like this, please subscribe to my channel, Dean's N-Scale Trains. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.